And welcome back to John De Silva Photography, where everything is about photography. Today, we're doing part 2. Back to Antarctica, part 2, wildlife. Antarctica was a big catch for me. It was a big destination, something that I needed to build on my portfolio. All my clients ask for certain things, and I have to be prepared to deliver it to them. So, ice pictures, snow pictures, mountain pictures, specifically Antarctica pictures. When asked, I must deliver or go get. So this is part 2. Hopefully you've already seen part 1. We're going to go through the images. I'm going to talk about them, how I made them, how I set them up, and hopefully going through these images, talking about them, will help you with your images, whether you're in Antarctica or anywhere. Enjoy the images, and I will see you after the review.
The pandemic really did a number on my business. I lost my biggest client. And coming out of the pandemic, I felt I needed to do something big for my business, give it a shot in the arm. I knew that as a travel photographer, I needed to add unique images to my body of work. So I had already traveled to 60 countries on 6 continents. So I realized that what I needed to do was tackle that 7th continent, that last continent, Antarctica. One of the least photographed places on the planet and one of the most difficult places to get to. So, as I mentioned before, I had to overcome my serious fear of the possible rough seas in the Drake Passage and the 2 days I would be bedridden, no doubt, from motion sickness. But my business needed me to do this, so I decided I am going to Antarctica. And the trip also allowed me to focus on the Southern Hemisphere, which was an area that was missing in my portfolio. And as a travel photographer, I needed to do all of this. So when I show my portfolio, I have credibility. I have the credentials and I have a more diverse body of work. And all of this translates into my bottom line, which is what you need to keep your eye on. Your business, my business. Making photographs is great, but you also have to pay attention to the bottom line, the success of your business. So that's why I went to the Southern Hemisphere and Antarctica for the images you are seeing here and being able to provide them to my clients. The first 3 images you were reviewing were all shot in color, but I desaturated them and made them black and white because they seem to present better as black and white, because black and white was the dominant colors in the image in the first place. So the penguins bowing, their web prints, and them porpoising in the water all come across better as black and white images. Now all these other images are pretty much typical of what you will see in Antarctica. A whole bunch of penguins just sitting on rocks and red dirt back there, which makes a great composition because it throws a splash of color in there that you normally don't see in Antarctica. And then for scale, you see how large the whale is as you measure it against the zodiac and the people in the background with that Antarctic environment all around you with the water and the ice and the mountains. This environmental portrait of the Weddell seal is very nice because it's more portrait. It's like 90% portrait with a little bit of 10% of the animal there right in the middle. And so pay attention to these compositions because you're going to see they're going to vary. And the orientation of my camera, some landscape and some portrait. The next grouping here is like a horizontal line going through this landscape image. The middle part of the 10%, 15, 20% of the image is where all the information is basically. There's sky and above it and water below it, but in the middle you got the ice and the pretty blue ice, and then you got the warm browns of the seals there in the image. Now birds are tricky because they're always moving, especially in flight, so getting them sharp requires a fast shutter speed. And it's hard to compose in Antarctica, especially when you're in the zodiac, because you're always moving. So you're going to probably make multiple pictures just to make sure they're sharp, make sure your composition is what you want. And these birds are always funny. You'll notice when you're down there, because they just congregate, and as birds, their buddies fly over them. They all look up to see who it is, and when they land, they just go back to normal yakking. They make a lot of noise. You can even smell them from a distance. But that's the beauty of Antarctica and wildlife. The next image is one of my strongest and one that I'm really happy about. 3 penguins on floating ice. Again, all of this is from a zodiac, constantly moving. I picked portrait because I wanted to get sky and the blue ice in the foreground, sky above them, and then water. I wanted to get these layers, and you got like 5 or 6 layers here going from top to bottom, and they're positioning. One penguin's looking to the left, the other one's looking to the right. It's almost like they were posed there, and I got lucky. I was ready, and I made the photograph. Now, the next image is an example of using the same subject, which would be those 3 penguins. But as the zodiac moved, I went to a landscape orientation to get more information from left to right instead of top to bottom, and put them in the lower left quadrant of the composition. I think it flows really well. You've got the lines of the ice and snow in the background that kind of lead you from right to left to where the penguins are. And also the ice that they're on creates a little design, some lines around that kind of puts them in like a nest, for lack of a better word. So your eye can really capture those penguins there. The next image, all the information is like in the bottom 15 to 20% of the image. Again, the composition is different. I don't have them right in the middle of the frame. I have them at the bottom, like they're sleeping, like they're laying there, and the sky and the Peekaboo Mountain there is above them. Next image is a pose. It's almost like an actual pose. Got them pretty much in the middle of a portrait orientation. Not much color here, but I did decide to keep it color because of that yellowish green ice in the background, and the gray rocks I think were fine as they were. So if I desaturated that, the color of those rocks wouldn't change much. It would just be the ice there, the yellow green ice in the background, which I have no idea why it's that color, and the seal, the Weddell seal there with its warm brown coat. Catching a bird in flight and getting it sharp in a zodiac, I should break my arm to pat myself on the back. It was tricky. They were constantly, this is, I believe, a variety of albatross, and they are constantly flying overhead. And capturing it this sharp, I was thrilled to death because trust me, I've got a lot of blurry bird pictures because I'm moving, they're moving. It was really difficult, but this one came out really well. Wings up, you can see the speckled coloration of the feathers. Very successful capture of a bird in flight. This guy or gal was a little bit easier and a little bit slower. Very curious, coming up to the zodiac, nostrils open. When it would dive, it would close the nostrils. It was very cool to watch. It would pop up, look at us, pay a little bit of attention, then get bored and go back underwater, pop back up. You'll probably get a lot of this activity when you go down to Antarctica. And 3 penguins, of course. 3 is a strong number. All the rocks, all the little bit of color bits there, the orange material in the rocks. 3 penguins marching from left to right, going in the same direction, just doing their thing. Now this guy, he was mimicking the ice in my mind. I saw him, came upon him. I was on land. Luckily, it wasn't a zodiac I was on land, so I could actually maneuver. I could move my feet and position him where I wanted him, which was right in front of the ice in the background. I thought the slope of his body was matching the slope of the ice back there. So I thought that was a very, very good coincidence, and I took advantage of it. And he didn't move, so I was able to get a few frames off. And the interest in the clouds, the blue of the ice and the brown of it's very separated. You got maybe 40% down below, which is a warmer gray brown. Then everything up above it is cooler colors. And then the final image, I don't believe it's the same 3 penguins, but I thought this was a really funny image. And when I saw it, when I was reviewing it, doing my edits, I said, oh, will be a good image to close the review with, because there they go, marching into the sunset. Well, in this case, into the surf. So there they are. So those are my pictures for Back to Antarctica Wildlife Part 2.
Well, that concludes today's video, Back to Antarctica Wildlife Part 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful with your own photography. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments, put them down below in the comment section. And don't forget, if you liked any of these images, they are available. If you need photographic services, I'm available for that as well. So please come back, enjoy the videos. More to come, and I will see you at the next video. Keep making great photos. Take care.